Mm-mm. Oh, yes.
That's yours. And then it's this.
Page 128 at the bottom. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our queen. Hachamamerosh ha'ilanot nistalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka. Let's try that again. Hachamamerosh ha'ilanot nistalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Hinei yoredet hakdosha Hinei yoredet habrucha hachamamerosh ha'ilanot nistalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Hinei yoredet hakdosha Hinei yoredet habrucha hachamamerosh ha'ilanot nistalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka Bovanate selikrat Shabbat hamalka.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to all of you. It's so nice to see you. As I think some of you know, I was in Chicago. We were in Chicago last week. My parents celebrated their 90th birthdays, both of them. And we had a wonderful party for them. My brother and my sister and I threw it for them. They had a terrific time. They send everyone their regards. I know we've had lots of milestone birthdays here lately, so it was nice to go back and just be a son and get to celebrate my own mom and dad's milestone birthday. So it's great to be back. The weather's been beautiful. It's going to be getting hot. But I'm glad you're here in this cool sanctuary with such a cool community. And I see lots of our members, children of some of our members, friends, siblings. So a special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time or who are here for a special occasion. As I have done over the last couple months before we start the service, I want to just ask if anyone has any oys or joys that they'd like to share with us. Anything that's happened over the last couple weeks that's been particularly challenging or that's been particularly happy. And I'll start a joy. Luckily, I didn't have any oys, but the joy was celebrating my parents' 90th and spending time with them, being so far away here in California. So that's my joy of the last week or two. Anyone want to share anything? Yes, Susie. And we have people watching at home, so you do need to speak into the mic.
Well, this is going to sound a little silly, but my oi is that my sewing machine's on the blink. And it's, I don't know, some of you know that that's a big part of my identity. My joy is that next week our grandsons are flying in from Maryland and we're taking them to Disneyland, and I am so excited I almost cannot sleep. So
I'm happy to hear that. I got to tell you, as a rabbi and a student of Jewish history, if that's the only joy, oi you have in your life, that's not too bad. But I know you love using that sewing machine, and the joy is pretty wonderful. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Yes.
This is probably an oi and a joy. Some of you know that my oldest son has, in order to pay for graduate school, joined the National Guard. And unbeknownst to his parents, when he joined with the pathway to try out for Special Forces. He just went through selection and got selected. So he will be working towards being a Green Beret, which is an oi and a joy for his mother.
I can see as a mom that that's an oi and a joy, but Mazel Tov, that's a huge accomplishment, and we're all very proud of him and happy for him. That's great. Anybody else? Yes. What's your name? Paige? Okay. And tell us, so everyone knows, your connection here tonight.
Yeah, my grandparents. And I have a joy. Next week, my cousins and my uncle and aunt are coming, and that's my joy.
Okay. That's exciting. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Getting my steps in tonight. Okay. Wait, who just? Oh, I'm sorry.
We have I guess it's an oi and a joy too, which is our middle son is going to be playing a fentanyl awareness fundraiser on August 29th. He's coming up from LA, and the oi is that the fentanyl awareness fundraiser was started by the family of somebody he was friends with in high school who's, died of fentanyl poisoning, but the joy is that he gets to play the fundraiser.
Thank you, Hillary. I'm happy to hear that. Anybody else? Okay, I would like to invite Anita Catlin up to light our candles. And just so you know, Carolyn and I saw Anita and Tucker during my sabbatical back in November, or December, I think it was November, in Porto, in their lovely apartment, their lovely condo in Porto. We spent time with them. They're the reason that I was able to do some work, both consulting and teaching with the synagogue, the brand new synagogue in Porto. I'm going to be talking about this a little bit during the High Holy Days. And it was so great spending time with you there. And I think this is the first time we've seen you since you've been back. So great. So Anita, please come up. And do you want to just say something about the oneg that you're sponsoring tonight?
Well, I was going to talk about it a little later, but we are sponsoring the oneg tonight in honor of my mom, her passing and the purchase of a little plaque thing there. So I'll talk about it a little more later. Thank you. Do you have a page number?
Yes, page 120.
I'm lighting candles here. Okay, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Oh, it went out. I'm sorry. Thank you,
Sorry,
Gordon.
this is lighting candle music.
All right. Now that one broke. I may have needed a little assistance here. Okay. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I am going to do something a little different tonight. Usually the rabbi and the music director or the cantor decide on which songs, which prayers to do during the course of a service. I'm going to give you three choices, and I didn't tell you about this, but this guy is very good on his feet, so I'm sure he'll be okay with any one of them. I'm going to give you three songs, and I just want you to raise your hand, and we will sing the one tonight that you would like to do, one of the three Kabbalat Shabbat opening songs. If you want to do Shalom Aleichem, which we do quite frequently, raise your hand. Well, I'm not going to call the page numbers out until we decide what we're going to do.
No, they want to know what the 3 are, I think.
Oh,
before.
okay. Good point. Okay, the 3 are Shalom Alechem, Yedid Nefesh, or Lecha Dodi. So if you want Shalom Alechem, raise your hand. Okay. If you want Yedid Nefesh, raise your hand. That looks pretty close, but I think Yedid Nefesh is a little bit more. If you want Lecha Dodi, raise your hand. Oh my God, you guys, it is hard being the rabbi of a congregation. I think all 3 of them were evenly divided. Gordon, what would you like to do tonight?
How many votes do I count as?
20.
Well, okay. At least
There was no
said
clear winner.
there's no stairway to heaven. Was not part of it, right? Okay. So I guess we'll do just the standard. Oh, no, we could do, we can do the new one that we did. They didn't say which melody. We're going to vote on that too.
No.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
So which one do you want to do?
Let's see if I remember how it goes. So give me a second. That threw me a little bit. It was a first in my entire career that we have done that like that. Okay, so how does the one go? Let's see. Oh, I know how it goes. Okay, give me page 138, right? I think we're on 138.
Which one are we doing?
The one that I'm about to
we're
sing.
We're going to do Lecha Dodi.
Oh, that was the one that won, right? Yeah, that got the most votes. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi on page 138.
Try this. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. See, they're going, well, we didn't want that one. Shamor v'zachor. I'll have to change the key here. B'dibur echad. I'll change the key in a minute. Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad. U'shemo echad. V'li az l'Hashem u'tiferet levahiti la. We're gonna have to do it higher. Let's do it like around here. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mikor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Number 8. Yamin u'smol tifrotzi. Ve'et Adonai taritzi al yad ish ben partzi v'nismacha v'nagila. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please rise as we join in verse 9. We face the entryway. Boi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam b'simcha Uvetzola Toch emuneh Am segula Boi chala Boi chala Ya la la lecha dadi Ya la likrat kala Ya la Panei Shabbat Nika
Please remain standing if you're able. We continue on page 146 with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Please join me in English at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derech uv'shokpecha uv'kumecha ukshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tiskaru Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Page 157. Please join me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better way, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora osef ele, Nora Sefele Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, Ukei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eliyanu v'amru, Ze Eliyanu v'amru, Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Page 161. You know, wisdom is very important to us. Self-actualization is very important to us. There are lots of things, especially as we get older and more mature, that are important in our lives, psychologically, emotionally. But without feeling safe, without having protection, without having a shelter, none of that really matters. All you have to do is ask the thousands, the millions of people fleeing poverty and violence around the globe right now, or those in harm's way at the various wars, not only in the Middle East, but all over the planet. And so now we ask God to give us a shelter, a sukkah of peace on this Shabbat and on every Shabbat when we gather together to pray. Page 161.
Go ahead.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Askivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Askivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
The Amidah is on page 164, and once again, if you are able, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imoheinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Oseru Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav leHoshia. Morid hatah, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed. Mechaye hakol b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim b'rofei cholim, U'matir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'gevurot umidom melach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Page 180. Yehiyu l'ratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Huya ase shalom, huya ase shalom, ya ase shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Ve'imru amen.
We pause at this point in our service and think of those who are in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our congregation and those known and loved by our community: Ilana Massey, Kirk Whitlatch, Kathy Rotto, Aaron Ledden, Michaela Cohen, Tracy Adams, Don Copeland, Nancy Pollock, Pat Shapiro, Denise Robinson, Elianza Chavez, Sherry Levson, Joyce Sheffrin, Doug Gill, Craig Miller, Len Dannon, Judy Nimo, Paul Bisberg, Stacy Bressler, Harriet Lehman, Jolene Jackson, Irving Sten Jr., Megan McCaskey, Susan Early, Terry Wright, Jude Brown, Robbie Josselson, David Gallagher, Corinne Frugoni, Natasha Miller, and Gary Lustig. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add, I invite you to share it with us. The Misha Berach is on page 511.
We'll actually be singing the version at the top tonight. So. Misha Berach Avotenu, Misha Berach Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Chalimam ulrapotam ulera hachazima. Sorry, let's do that again. Ulera chazikam ulhazikam hakadosh baruch hu. Misheberach Avoteinu, Misheberach Imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Hu yivarech et hakolim.
Shalom. Good Shabbos again, and a special welcome again to those of you who are new to us or visiting. It's great to have you. So I don't see Sandy here right now. I saw her earlier tonight, but I was in the office earlier this week with Mara, and Sandy was talking to Mara, and I walked by to do something, and she said, I have a question for you. And those of you who know Sandy know that you have to always be on your toes, so I wasn't sure what she was going to ask me. And she said, do you believe in God? I was like, well, that's a big question. I can give you an off-the-cuff answer. I'd rather give you a longer, more involved answer at another time. But I said, yes, I do. My conception of God has really evolved quite a bit over the years. And the God I believe in now is a very different God than the God I believed in when I was in rabbinical school or when I was a teenager. And I said, but, I go through my moments of doubt. And I mentioned to Sandy, and Mara was there, that the first chief rabbi of Israel, Palestine at the time, in the 20s, was named Rav Kook. Very important, visionary, mystical kind of thinker. He was able to see the spirituality in everyone, from the socialist, atheist, Zionist, to the most ultra-Orthodox Jew. And he was a very observant person. He was the chief rabbi of Palestine. And he, in one of his writings, said, and he came from Eastern Europe, so he knew darkness. He knew hardship. And he said that to look at the world with all of its violence and pain and the pogroms and the violence, this was before the Holocaust, but he certainly knew how dark and painful the world could be. He said to be a thoughtful person and look around you, to not go through moments of what he called temporary atheism, that is the real sin, because that means you have a closed-off heart, a calloused heart. So even the chief rabbi of Israel said, it's okay to doubt. It's okay to have moments of atheism. That's part of what it means to be a believer. So after talking to Sandy and after thinking about the Torah portion for this Shabbat, I wanted to pass out something tonight. I made 40 copies of this. I thought that was enough, but we have a really nice turnout tonight, so some of you may have to look on with a neighbor and share, because in this Torah portion from the book of Deuteronomy, it's called Akev, there's a question, a rhetorical question that Moses asks that I think is a big one, and that I think is something important for us to think about and maybe talk about a little bit tonight. Now, in the past, I've talked about how many Bible scholars think that the book of Deuteronomy was written by a totally different set of authors than the rest of the Torah. It's the only book in the Torah that is written in first person. Moses speaks. Pretty much the whole book is Moses addressing the people of Israel before he dies. The other 4 books are written in third person by an anonymous narrator. And it's different in many other ways that I'm not going to get into tonight. But tucked away into the Torah portion and you can look on with me, are 2 verses from chapter 10 that I think really get to the heart of what Moses and what the Torah think should be our purpose or our mission in life. It's a big question. I'm a former philosophy major. I love the big questions. So this one stuck out to me, and I wanted to review it with you tonight. The question that Moses asked the people of Israel is, "And now, O Israel," and imagine they're standing by the Jordan River, they're getting ready to cross after 40 years of wandering. Moses is about to die, and after all of the other laws and practices that he describes to them, now he really gets into the heart of what it means to be a Jew and a human being. What does the Lord your God demand of you? Only this, in Hebrew it's ki'im, just this, to fear the Lord your God, to walk only in God's paths, to love God, and to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and soul, keeping the Lord's commandments and laws, which I enjoin you today for your good. So he says it's pretty simple. Ki'im, just this. You look at this, there are really 5 different things involved here. It ain't too simple as far as I'm concerned. The first thing that Moses says you have to do is fear God, yirah. A better translation probably would be revere God or hold God in awe. The second one is walk in God's paths. What does that mean? The next one is love God. So fear God, revere God, and also love God. The fourth one is serve God with all of your heart and soul. What does that remind you of in the Ve'ahavta? Love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your being. And finally, if those aren't hard enough, keep God's commandments and laws. So you look at these 5 components of what it takes to lead a purposeful, meaningful life, at least according to the Torah and Moses. 2 of them relate to feeling. And the Torah rarely talks about feeling. It talks more about behavior. But here it's saying revere God and love God. How we do that in a concrete way is anyone's guess. What does it mean to love your spouse, to love your child, to revere or honor your parents? That can mean different things for different people. So 2 of them relate to feelings, and 2 of them relate to behavior. It's also ambiguous. What does it mean to walk in God's paths? What exactly does that mean? And what does it mean to serve God with your heart, with all your heart and with all your soul? It adds a spiritual component to it, but how does that play out? And finally, when all else fails, as the rabbis do later on, many centuries later, through rabbinic literature, the Mishnah and the Talmud and other books, says, when all else fails, just keep the commandments and the laws. That's what happens at the end of the book of Ecclesiastes, also the end of the book of Kohelet, which is a pretty philosophical, kind of depressing book. And at the end it says, when all else fails, just keep the commandments and everything will be okay. So to me, this is all very unclear. It's supposed to be a recipe for how we ought to live our lives, but what does it mean to fear God, to revere God, to love God? What does it mean to walk in God's paths? What does it mean to serve God with all your heart and soul? And this is a lot of God stuff. We live in an era where many of us, maybe even most of us, don't believe in God, at least the traditional conception of God. I know many people in this congregation who I've spoken with who've told me very clearly that they don't believe in God. Maybe some of you, maybe many of you here who come regularly every Friday night have questions about God or don't believe in God. And as I said earlier in my reference to Rav Kook, I can respect that position. But I think the idea behind these 5 answers to the question, what does God require of you? What does God ask of you? Is godliness. We are supposed to be godly. In the book of Leviticus, we have that famous idea, you shall be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. By imitating God, we become godly. Christianity has a similar idea. My Christian pastor friends always say, what would Jesus do? Act like Jesus, and you're going to be living the life you ought to be living. So the question I have that I'd like us to talk a little bit about tonight is, what does it mean to be godly? What does it mean to be holy when we're not even sure if we believe in God? That, I think, is a very important question if you're a Jewish person living in Napa in 2026. How can you be godly if you don't believe in God? What does that mean? Or you could pick up on any of these other ideas too. Is it rewarding enough just to follow all the practices in Judaism, keep kosher, light candles on Shabbat, welcome the stranger? Is that enough to leading a fulfilling life? Or is there more? So you can pick up where you want, but the question I wanted to ask is, if you don't believe in God, how do you follow this? How can we possibly obey the commandments and the wishes of Moses and of God? How do we do that today? So, Gordon, who's going to be first? I know it's a big question, but as soon as someone starts, I know we get lots of other comments as well. So who'd like to start?
Being godly means to repair the world under the rule of God.
Okay. Being godly means to repair the world, tikkun olam, by the will of God, or under the will of God. And I agree. The divine-human partnership is critical to perfecting this world. But there are people who don't believe in God and who think tikkun olam is just about us, just about human behavior and acting ethically, irrespective of whether God exists or not. But that's an answer that I'm comfortable with and that I like. Anita.
So I'm not sure I can answer about being godly, but I do have a comment about being ungodly. And that's like on Yom Kippur, I'm always very confused because I'm supposed to say about all these sins I did, but I don't do sins. So I'm
you sure about that?
Well, I mean, I don't think, you try to be godly, you try not to do sins, you try to follow the commandments, but I don't get exactly all the concentration on atoning for being ungodly, because I don't think that many people are ungodly.
Well, thank you for that. I don't want to digress too much about Yom Kippur, but what I will say is that Judaism, as I understand it, acknowledges that all of us are flawed. All of us make mistakes. All of us, we may not be ungodly, but we can sometimes act in ungodly ways. That's why we have Yom Kippur. And we say, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Dibarnu, Dofi. There are different levels of transgression. I won't go into all of them right now, but the most basic is simply missing the mark. We all miss the mark. We all make mistakes. That's a kind of transgression. So I think what Rabbinic Judaism would say is that inevitably we all make mistakes. Yom Kippur is a once a year time where we get to, as a community, get right with God and get right with each other. But we're supposed to do that every day of our lives. So I think godliness is somehow this combination of moral behavior with some sort of spiritual framework connected to it. That's at least how I understand the word godly. Sheila.
The prophets distilled it down, saying that God doesn't want your sacrifices.
Isaiah.
Right, and Micah, who said, do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. So behavior, how we behave, is what shows us what godliness is. Another thing that I remember learning when I was at the University of Judaism is if you live your life as if there were a God, even if you don't believe in one, you will have lived a godly life.
That's good, thank you. Effie?
Just one sentence. ואהבת לרעך כמוך.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? Well, that's an important mitzvah. It's an important commandment, but it's not the only one. Yeah, okay. Kathleen.
I think the guiding principle for me goes all the way back to Genesis. I think every human being was created in the image of God. And I think our job really is to look at all of those around us, and whether we like them or not, remember that they're also created in the image of God. and have value.
Thank you. And as my mentor and professor and Orthodox Rabbi Yitz Greenberg used to teach all of us, infinite value, not just value, but infinite value. So thank you. I would say, love your neighbor as yourself, Effie, as you pointed out. Love the stranger. Many of the different moral rules in the Torah. Those are all important, but they're also spiritual ones. And I think, going back to your point, I think to have a system that is grounded only in ethics, only in morality, and not with any other kind of spiritual overlay doesn't work, in my opinion. I lived in New York for 20 years. Some of you may have heard of the Ethical Culture Society. It was a big deal in New York. It was in the late 19th century, early 20th century. There are still a few places like that around New York at least. And the Ethical Culture Society was started by a lot of Jews who were disenchanted with Judaism. They didn't believe in God. They didn't follow any of the practices. And they said, we want to create a community that's sort of religion light. We want to follow all of the moral practices because we think that's all that's important in this world. It's just to behave ethically. We don't need spirituality. We don't believe in it. We just want to focus on ethics. And what happened over the decades is that the ethical culture societies have almost disappeared. And religion, while in trouble in some areas, is still around and probably will be around forever. So I think having pure morality without spirituality is not a recipe for success. It's not a recipe for perfecting the world. Just as pure spirituality, pure pious behavior without a moral grounding is not going to be successful either. I think we somehow need to find that balance. I think that's what these 5 answers to Moses' question try to convey. And I hope, with the high holidays coming up very soon, and with another year ahead of us, we as a community will do our best to try to find that balance between ethics and spirituality, between God and community, and try to live a godly life, even if we don't necessarily believe in the traditional idea of God. This is a very big tent. Judaism is a very big tent, and there's room for all of us. So thank you for your comments. And we are going to continue on page 586 with the Aleinu. If you're able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורל עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. It is my honor now to invite up board member Amy Hall to share some important announcements with all of us tonight. Amy, what don't you do in this congregation? You're a board member, you're on committees, you work on our website, you do so many things.
I'm busy.
And you're busy. Okay.
I enjoy it.
Well, we're going to put you to work again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Niles, and Shabbat Shalom. Yay. As you know, I'm very happy to be here because I love doing announcements. So, okay, Rak b'Ivrit. No. Okay. So, as you may know, the most recent Beth Shalom newsletter with information on all the temple events is available on our website, cbsnapa.org. And there's also a takeaway flyer in the lobby of all the upcoming events this month. Sunday swims at the shul with the pool, that's us, will take place yet again on Sunday, August 2nd. So those Sunday swims are going to continue every Sunday from now until Labor Day. We have a pool. Let's enjoy it. It's summer. So there's 2 4-hour swim sessions that take place each Sunday. There's one at 10 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. Registration, advanced registration is required. And you can do that on the website or contact the office. That can be done online. So please register prior to the day of, because that's how they determine the lifeguard situation. Summer Ulpan, which means like a Hebrew study group, is taking place Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. right here. And join in this lively Hebrew conversation course. We're sort of at the intermediate level, but all levels are welcome because we all benefit experiencing the language together. So see Amy Hall, oh, that's me, or Ernie Weir with questions. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be around. Our first installment of Shared Shabbat Dinner will take place, is this next Friday? Yeah. August 7th, hot dog. So that's really exciting. And you may be wondering, like, what's different about shared Shabbat dinner versus like the wonderful onegs that we have every week? This is gonna be really special. And so it's gonna be a potluck situation. You just bring something. It doesn't have to feed everybody, because if everybody brings a little something, then there's so much to share. But then the main course is provided, and there's a small fee to attend, and advanced registration is required. We're gonna have this beautiful roast chicken. We're all going to be having our complete dinner together. It's really gonna be a Shabbat dinner elevated together. So really hope you can make it. Please do sign up soon, because it helps them determine, how much food we gotta get. Okay, tickets from the shtetl to the stage are now available online. That's a very special fundraising event we'll be having on Saturday, September 26th, right here. We have an incredible musician, or singer, and accompanying pianist, very, very famous 2 gentlemen who will come and singing songs from all the history, the Jewish musical tradition. And there are lots of details on that website. So do make Shabbat sweeter by contributing baked goods to our weekly onegs. We're always looking for that. And we'd like to give warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Kim Borders, Sally Besser, Aiden Harvey, Phyllis Clyde, Joe Haspel, Cheryl Warfield, Julie Garion, Suzanne Schiff, Sue Barish, David Markstein, and Jonah Levinson. And happy anniversary to David and Elaine Freed, Christopher and Marta Mariski, Julian Scott Garion, Gordon and Karen Lustig, Zoe and Dick Stein, and Shireen and Charles Lucas. So I'd like to invite up now Anita Kaplan to speak briefly about tonight's oneg. So if you would come up, Anita.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. It's lovely to see you. And when we were on page 161 and the rabbi was reading, he had a sentence that said, "Help us to walk with good companions." And that's how Tucker and I feel tonight. We're back in town. We don't live here anymore, but we're so happy to see people. We've been coming here since 1972. And, we see a Mountner, and we see an Ash, and we see an Ewig, and we see a Pascan, and we see, a Persile, and we see these people that we knew way, way, way back then, and then there's lots of new people who have come since then. So we're very happy to see you. I wanted to talk just for a minute about my mom. I brought a picture of her that I'll put by the oneg. This is a picture of her. This is a picture of my mom and dad. And this is a picture of my mom with her 2 brothers who were in the United States military. So I just wanted to tell you a little about her, because it might be a little like your lives, I don't know. My mother's parents were born in Russia. It could have been Latvia, it could have been Belarus, it could have been Russia, it could have been Ukraine, but somewhere there they were born. Each of them had 8 siblings. 2 of my grandmother's sisters were lost in the Holocaust. My mom had 2 older brothers. They were both in the United States Army during World War II, and they were gone for 5 years. There were no cell phones then, and you couldn't really talk. So for 5 years, her brothers were gone. One was a major in the Army on the ground. One was a paratrooper. And they ended up meeting by chance in Germany during the end of the war, which was really exciting for them. I had a lovely mom. She embraced American life. No one spoke Yiddish in the house. We didn't keep kosher anymore. They just wanted to be Americans and embrace the American dream. And my parents' life revolved around building a synagogue. In the beginning, we met in libraries and in churches, and eventually we built a very big, lovely synagogue in the Chicago area where Carolyn and Niles are from. And that was my life growing up. My dad came from Polish ancestry, and he, during the war, was in Okinawa, Japan. So my mom, while she was having this American life, played kaluki and mahjong, and my parents hosted lots of parties. And then they welcomed Tucker as their son, especially after his parents passed away. And my sister adopted Tucker as their brother. And if you can believe it, this was 61 years ago. So Tucker's been in my family for 61 years. We've been married for 56 years. My mom loved us very much. And when Tucker and I moved in together on a kibbutz, my mother met him at the door, and I say she had a shotgun. He doesn't believe that. But I remember that she had a shotgun, and she said to him, "We don't live together in this family, we get married." So, yes. So we had a very big 250-person wedding, and that my parents put on in the synagogue that they had built, and it was really quite lovely. My mom loved coming out here. My dad died pretty young, and my mom loved coming out here. She loved the goats and chickens on our ranch, and she was very, very good to our son, who is ill sometimes. And I just remember one time he was very, very ill, laying on the ground, not talking, not moving, and my mother, who was probably about 80 at the time, laid down on the ground next to him and just held his hand. That was my mom. She was great. So when my parents were alive, we put stones outside saying Alan and Tootsie Goldberg. But now my parents have passed away, so up there, we're having this oneg because we just ordered those little brick things. And now there's a brick that is in memory of my mom. And it says that my 2 sisters who couldn't be here tonight and I are her children, and of course Tucker, her child too. So that's what I wanted to say. If she were here, she would welcome you to this oneg. We bought lox and bagels for everyone, so you could think you were in Chicago, And thank you for letting us talk for a few minutes.
Thank you, Anita, and I hope everyone enjoys the beautiful oneg that their family provided. And that's really all I have to say tonight, but I just want to say, if you have any questions about any events, I'll be here for a little while, and then there's other board members here tonight, so look for the little name tag, and you can ask us about events. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. As we near the end of our service, we think of those who are no longer with us. We think of those who have passed during the last 12 months. Carolyn Goldman, Robin Frank, Mark James Milberg, Joan Wilmert, Buddy Melian, Marilyn Sazatska, Joshua Ariel Stolman, Audrey Lieberstein, Ernie Hine, Myra Lieber, Evelyn Sherman, and David Margulies. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Shirley Dravin Blinderman, Sandra Stoltz, Richard Luros, Marty David, Lauren Wright, Nathan Bisberg, Harriet Leah Sandler Purviance, Emil J. Bartos, Edward Tapper, Evelyn Ash, Robert Blattis, Eva DeChantigny, Hannah Wolstein, Gladys Kreisberg, Harry Sherman, Sanford Arnold Eisenstadt, Elizabeth Levinson, Joseph E. Hochstetter, Harold Savinar, Bradley Allen Hertz, Molly Greendorfer, Adele Boots Braunstein, and Victor Alcott. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add, I invite you to share it with us. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah v'yamlach kiratei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayichon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'gala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei maya Yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say amen. Please be seated. Before we turn to the Kiddush and Motzi, Gordon is going to lead us in our final song.
We're going to take a vote. No, we're not.
You can try.
Nah, people are ready for their onik. Here we go. We're going to pay page 643. Esainai el hearim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai el hearim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai ose shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai ose shamayim va'aretz. Esa enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esa enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ya lai la lai la ya lai la lai la lai la lai la 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 la. Ya lai la lai la ya lai la lai la ya lai la lai la 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 lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, okay. Melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishi ki hu yom tehila l'mikraye kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim. Vanu v'charta, tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amin, v'shabbat kadshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, Hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.